We're rolling.
I'm going to talk a little bit about the Sanibel, the song, and try and give you an insight into what went on in the warped little mind of the songwriters. I've spoken in kind of contextual video about getting a postcard from a girl on the island, and how the idea was jump-started, and emotionally where I was at when I went to write it. But I want to talk about breaking down how the song turned out, you know, kind of post-analyzing the song. In terms of the music, like I said, I got a postcard from somebody, I wish you were here, who had left me, and why did you leave me in the first place? And I originally had kind of like, I wanted to write, you dirty rat, you know, just something angsty. But when I sat down, there was sort of I was in a pool house, and there was this really nice, calm reflection of the pool lights in the evening, and it almost put me in an ocean setting. My guitar was in G tuning. And G tuning is most often used for that kind of blues, but G tuning is also used by a lot of the folk singers, a lot of that Joni Mitchell kind of rows and rows of angels and ice cream castles everywhere. All that helplessly hoping, her heart looking hovers. A lot of singer-songwriters do stuff. It's also used on a kind of Keith Richards, rock and roll, brown sugar kind of stuff. But between looking out on the little lights reflecting in the pool, and I sort of had these kind of nice melancholy kind of voicings, and I came up with that little motif. I don't know if it was out yet at the time, but you know, blackbirds singing in the dead of night, kind of a little of that influence was rubbing off on me. So the first line I came up with was that there's a ship and it sails a sea of light on its way to me tonight from a distant shore, taking me home once more. That came pretty directly from a literary reference to The Prophet by Gilbran, which was sort of an metaphysical book at the time. And he is this mystical leader, teacher, whatever, and some boat is coming to take him back to his homeland after being away, and all of these people saying, don't go, before you go, give us all of your wisdom, tell us about love, tell us about life. And that was sort of the ship that sailed the sea of light on its way to me tonight from a distant shore. Then the second line, and the waves and the whistle of the wind make me come alive again, my destiny and my door. That's just kind of Denny the Romantic. I've always loved the ocean. I've always loved, I don't swim, but I could live forever watching the shoreline. And that, I think, was my own desire to be at my church of the ocean. Then I had that, gonna leave this town forever and go where I never need an overcoat no more. This is where my New York songwriter, Brooklyn street kid, kicked in. And I had that vision of Paul Simon, a Paul Simon combo, both that Sounds of Silence, I turn my collar to the cold and damp, that feeling of having that pea coat, walking down the streets and going, brrr. And also the Boxer, that kind of, I'm laying out my winter clothes, wishing I was home. So I had that feeling that I kind of lifted for some other people's moods in their songs. Now getting to the chorus, I really have no idea where that came from, but it came, it was there. I just started singing it. I have a singer-songwriter, sort of more compact tenor kind of voice, and I had no idea where go more. Ooh la la la. I have no business singing up there at all, but there's just something. I had a feeling I needed something like nymphs, sea nymphs, sirens. There had to be something, some mystical kind of creature. And they wouldn't be singing, go no more, where they cry, I want to be by the ocean. It just needed a lift. It needed something to take it totally into that projection, into that fantasy. And like, ooh la la la, for some reason just seemed to hit the spot. So that sort of became the lyrical motif there, and the melodic motif, having that almost that yodel. And I had that, la 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 la, every night, every day, sitting by the Gulf Coast, just 1,000 miles away. And that's where the snarky street New York sarcastic guy came in. Because I was in LA at the time, and I didn't know anything about Sanibel, and I just kind of looked at a map and sort of did the little finger mileage and said, well, it's on the Gulf Coast, and it's 1,000 miles away. And I think I really got a little dig back at the gal who wrote the postcard on that particular line. There's a little snarkism in there when that, oh, you want me to come out to Sanibel? Well, hey, where is it? Oh, it's sitting on the Gulf Coast. You want me to stop by and see it? It's sitting on the Gulf Coast. It's just 1,000 miles away. No big deal. And just that positioning of that, just 1,000 miles away, I think kind of was my little therapy dig that I had in there. And then ooh la la, ooh la la la, on an isle I will dwell. Just alliteration. I thought that was fun having that in there. Starlit nights in paradise on the Isle of Sanibel. Well, that's anytime you're by the ocean anywhere is, you know, it's Sanibel. I also, now mind you, I've never been to this place until this adventure, wonderful adventure now. But I wanted the feeling of Sanibel is a state of mind. It's like James Taylor's, in my mind I'm going to Carolina. It's not about come visit Carolina and eat a peach or whatever you do down there. It just becomes a state of mind, someplace else you want to be, the perfect place in that bubble of your mind. So that was sort of the vision that I had of it. And when it came to the second chorus, there's a girl and I see her dressed in white. As she lies there in the night, I can hear her cry, where has he gone and why? This is where the second part of the literary reference kicked in. This is straight out of the Odyssey. I've always been a big fan of Homer's work. Like to meet him. Hey dude, I like your work. Read it all through high school. But I always loved the adventure of the Odyssey, and the romance of the Odyssey to me was more interesting than the Cyclops and the creatures. That idea of there's a girl and I see her dressed in white. They used to refer to any woman of nobility as like the white-armed Penelope. When they would write about it, they'd always say they were white-armed. And that was a sign of the royalty. That meant they never had to go out in the fields. They never had to go out and do any work. They were totally pampered, and they were white-skinned, fair-skinned, even though, of course, a lot of them were Mediterranean. So she's the girl, dressed in white. As she lies there in the night, I can hear her cry, where has he gone and why? I mean, she had no idea. This man ran off to the Trojan Wars. He was there 10 years. Everybody else got home from the Trojan Wars. He was like an MIA. And then another 10 years. It was 20 years altogether. Then, but she knows that someday he will arrive, and it keeps her love alive. Her dreams can never die. Penelope just had that persistence. And there's this, within the story of the Odyssey, her suitors want her to remarry, and she won't do it until she says she makes this tapestry, and every night she unravels the tapestry because she still has this blind faith that he'll be showing up. And the climb there goes into that. She looks across the ocean for sails in motion in the early morning skies. And literally in the book, she goes out there every day, and her mother and her friends and people are saying, what, are you crazy already? It's been 20 years. And she goes, no, I don't care. And every morning she goes out there and is expecting to see that ship returning. So I just ripped Homer off of that one. Then when I went to my bridge, I wanted a little lift, and staying with the Odyssey tradition, starlit nights in paradise in the Isle of Sanibel, angels of the water, sirens of the sea. You know, one of the great adventures that Odysseus had was, one of the great temptations and dangers were the sirens, who were these beautiful creatures that sang this exotic music that lured sailors to their death. They heard it, they had to go and be seduced by these beautiful creatures, and the rocks were horrible and it shipwrecked their ships. I even had one recorded version where I had angels of the water, sirens of the sea, and I had a lady background singer go, just this big siren, single operatic soprano voice that I kind of tucked away in the back. It was pretty cool. Then whispering the sweet love songs, calling out to me, what a sweet, sweet melody. And that was just turning sort of the danger and the ugly part of the siren story into their song. The siren song is something that leads him home. And it's almost like a celebration song when they're together. Then I just finish off with the verse again, the chorus again. And the only other variation is starlit nights in paradise in the Isle of Sanibel. Spend my life in paradise on the Isle of Sanibel. So I put a happily ever after tag on that. And that's basically kind of the motivation for the song and the breakdown of the individual lines and